Hello and welcome back to some climbing news. I've been away for a little longer than I would have liked, which means I have a lot of stuff to go through, including Matt Fultz sending 8C and 8C plus in Switzerland, Stefano Ghisolfi getting real close on his goal to send 4 different 9B routes while on his Spain trip, Nina Arthaud's Bishop sends, Simon Lorenzi's Revenge of the Sleepwalker send, some pretty complex unionization drama in California's Touchstone gyms, and so much more. Please don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you enjoy these updates, and yeah, let's do this. And starting with Simon Lorenzi, who, as we know, sent Revenge of the Sleepwalker 9A on the last day of his trip in Las Vegas. It's kind of funny how that happens, right? Like, so weird. So many professional climbers who get paid to climb all over the world just so happen to send the thing they originally intended to do on the very last day of their trip. Probably just a coincidence. I mean, it's not like they, send and stay for no reason. I mean, why would they? But yeah, conspiracies are just semi-obvious corporate storylining to make things seem more dramatic aside. I might have to take a serious long look at my cynicism here. It is pretty cool that the day of his flight, the day he would have been headed to the airport, bags packed, visa expiring, Simon was like, nah, fuck it, bro. Let me go in the middle of the desert to give this thing some goes. I'll take a Trump administration deportation. Those things look like fun. Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what happened. But honestly, do I truly believe he lied in this situation? No, not really. But it is funny to see certain recurring patterns in climbing media, and I'm not the biggest believer in coincidences, generally speaking. I guess the need for ultimately inconsequential time crunches is just the symptom of how inherently repetitive seeing repeats of a boulder we already know can be. Gotta add some emotional through line, right? Like, it's entertainment 101. It's the real rock formula. There's nothing inherently malicious about it, and ultimately, it probably won't hurt anyone. Probably. Maybe. I mean, no one's ever been hurt when money was involved, right, guys? Right? But hey, at least, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, even 11th repeat of Sleepwalker will be slightly more entertaining because they did it last possible moment. But anyway, Simon is now just behind Will Bosey as one of the only people to send 3.5 9A boulders. And yes, I'm only giving him a half point of credit for his half-sit start of Burden of Dreams. Am I dunking on this guy a little too hard? I don't mean to be. It's just a somewhat easy target at the moment. Dude seems like a perfectly nice guy. He does not deserve this shit. I'm sorry. I am a giant asshole. I'm just talking shit for talking shit's sake, My too cool for school persona on the side. A massive congratulations to Simon Lorenzi for the send of Revenge of the Sleepwalker. The guy is pretty freaking good at this bouldering thing. I mean, there's no question, one of the best in the world at it. So, well done there. But of course, I'm kind of curious about your thoughts on Simon's Burden of Dreams ascent. Do you think it matters the start was slightly raised up when he did it? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's move on. And onto Matt Fultz, who has been doing what Matt Fultz does, which is sending insanely difficult things while his wife whispers sweet nothings to him from behind the camera. It's uncomfortably intimate. I'm not the biggest fan of ASMR, but if my name was Matt, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be making videos like these ones. Maybe I'd just be, listening to Haley telling me I can do it and actually believing it and believing in myself. And I'm fine. I can do it. I can do it, Matt. I can do it. I love how much emphasis she puts on the T's. It's great. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, climbing. I forgot I was supposed to care about that for a second. My bad. Anyway, so Matt was out in Switzerland where he got the second ascent of Nathan Phillips' deepfake 8C+/V16 in Brione. A climb that reportedly took Matt a couple of sessions to figure out all the moves, and then 3 subsequent sessions that he needed to put things together. And of course, just like Simon Lorenzi, there was a period of time there where Matt really wasn't sure if he'd have enough time to send before he had to pack his bags and head back to the USA. But of course, the rain cleared up for just long enough that he was able to squeeze in a final session, which was exactly what he needed to get that send in. Are you seeing a pattern? Me neither. But hey, that was a week ago, and more recently, Matt was also able to get a repeat of Aiden Roberts' The Lion's Share, 8C, also in Brione. According to Matt, he was able to basically send this boulder several times, but was not actually able to properly finish it because the 7B/V8 top out was always soaking wet. On top of that, it seems Matt also sustained a small pulley injury while trying to climb the week before, but was able to send anyway. So yeah, here's to hoping for a full recovery. Congratulations on both sends, and as always, links in the description down below. But more importantly, I'm curious what sort of encouragement you guys like to hear when you're climbing. Are you more of a quiet send sort of person, or do you prefer it when your friend's screams give you that extra push? Let me know in the comments down below. And now off to Bishop, where Nina Arthaud has just done both Direct North 8B+/V14 and the Swarm 8B/V13. For any of you out there who don't know, Nina is now a retired comp climber who's made World Cup finals a few times for the French national team and who has begun to focus more on outdoor climbing. Now, Direct North is one of the most iconic lines on the Grandma Peabody boulder, and the moves on it are very, very board climby. So, you know, overhanging, big, powerful moves on relatively juggy crimps, basically. And why I say relatively, because as we all know, the definition of what makes something juggy is very fucking subjective. And then there's the Swarm, which is just another iconic Bishop line. Hard moves on super sharp crimps, which apparently tore up Nina's skin pretty badly. In fact, Nina stated on 8a.nu that she didn't find the moves on the Swarm to be particularly challenging. The true difficulty came from skin management until she, you guessed it, managed to send on the last fucking day of her trip. What a goddamn coincidence. Congratulations to Nina, congratulations to all professional climbers and their impeccable timing. And then I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention Stefano Ghisolfi and his send of Neanderthal 9B/515B. Neanderthal has a reputation for being pretty damn stout, so this one is really impressive ascent. Not to mention the fact Stefano's getting pretty freaking close to his stated goal, climbing a different 9B route at 4 different crags during his Spain trip. The guy has, at this point, done the full journey and Sleeping Lion, and is planning to get on Fight or Flight next in order to complete his goal, which he will do on the last day of his trip, miraculously, somehow. It's gonna come together. Do the Kronk thing.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
But back to Neanderthal. The climb reportedly took Stefano a total of 9 days to do, the same amount it took for him to get the full journey. Essentially, Stefano was able to reach the crux move on his second day, and then it was just a matter of giving this thing a few days for red pointing until it went down. Congrats to Stefano, of course. 4 9Bs in a little over a month is a wild freaking thing to even think you're capable of, and yeah, he's looking stupid strong right now, so there's not a single doubt in my mind that he'll be able to do it last day of his trip. Stefano's tick list is getting up there, man. It's 4 9B pluses and 11 9Bs. That's impressive shit. And then Bruce Zhu. Who the fuck is Bruce Zhu? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name correct. Is it Zhao? Bruce Zhao? It's Chinese. I'm not sure. You know, I had no idea who he was until just now. Boy, oh boy, am I glad I found the guy. Bruce has just sent both Pegasus 8C/V15 in Joe's Valley and the legendary Daniel Woods The Game 8C. What's funny though is that Bruce did all this while barefoot. Now I don't know about you, but climbing barefoot seems wild to me. As far as I know, only Charles Albert is doing the same thing at around this level, much higher than Bruce, but you know, around the level. 8Cs, 8C plus, who cares, same thing. Well, I guess Charles is doing 9A. Anyways, doesn't matter. Now Bruce started trying Pegasus barefoot because he apparently sprained his ankle and wasn't able to put a climbing shoe on. So, you know, normal climber thought process, right? Like, can't put your shoe on because your ankle hurts? No, don't go to the hospital or take care of that. Just try the boulder without shoes. I'm making fun of this. But honestly, it makes perfect sense in my head. It just does. And then apparently his Achilles was swollen on the other foot, so barefoot was the only option because, as we know, climbing is mandatory. Bruce's ability to climb Pegasus barefoot actually came from his training for the game, which he had been trying barefoot for a while. Apparently, the only way he could do the crux moves on the game was without shoes. So the guy basically decided to train his toes for a few years in order to be able to do the moves that he could do with his shoes but couldn't do barefoot. 80 plus sessions on the game starting in 2021 means this was a pretty fucking huge deal for the guy. I honestly can't imagine how good that must have felt. But also, dude was toe hooking shoeless on granite. Let that sink in. That's just painful. That's painful. It sucks. Congratulations to Bruce. And of course, what are your thoughts on barefoot climbing? It makes sense to me that Charles would do it because he's in Font, where everything is sandstone. But granite barefoot climbing just seems way more gnarly to me. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think. But finally, let's talk about Touchstone climbing gyms and their route setters going on strike. So if you don't know, Touchstone Climbing is one of the biggest climbing gym chains in the United States, and honestly, probably the world. And the gym chain has been heavily scrutinized as of late because of the way they've been treating their employees. Now, back in September, Touchstone began to bargain with unionized employees who were searching for better working conditions, benefits, and pay. This was a long and drawn-out process, with Touchstone frequently ignoring the union and basically refusing to really talk to their route setters, desk staff, etc. And it even got to a point where many of the gym's members joined together in an effort separate from the union, where they called for boycotting the gyms by canceling or freezing memberships. Now, 9 days ago, Touchstone gyms finally responded to the union's bargaining efforts. However, the proposals were not exactly popular. They included a reduction in most staff wages, lower staff discounts, and even the requirement that employees would have to pay for their own gym memberships. This is ultimately what has caused the Touchstone route setter strike for unfair labor practices. Route setters have and will be picketing various Touchstone locations throughout this week in an effort to protest their increased workload, which they claim leads to higher injury probabilities. As far as I'm aware, the company has raised their route setting requirements from a general 3 boulder per person set to 4 boulders per person. Now, if you don't know a lot about setting, that might not sound like much, but it's actually quite a bit, as it means more holds need to be taken off the wall, less time can be devoted to each boulder problem, and even worse, more boulders need to be forerun, aka tested, to see if they are the intended grade, the intended beta can't be broken, etc., which also means less time to properly warm up, and as the setters have said, a far larger probability of developing overuse injuries. Now, the Touchstone setters aren't necessarily protesting the higher workload, but rather the low financial compensation and basically the fact that with said higher workload, there was no increase in pay, meaning things like physical therapy, for example, something that would be necessary given how insanely physically demanding route setting can be, is out of reach financially for most of them. Now, as I said, this strike is set to continue throughout the week, leading up to Saturday's Touchstone Climbing Series competition, which is basically just like a party with free food, free drinks, all new climbs for Touchstone members, something that, well, it takes a lot of route setters to do. Those are always all hands on deck sort of events, so we'll have to see what happens with what Touchstone decides to do about the situation, if they will feel some sort of pressure that will raise compensation, or if they will continue doubling down and just turning a blind eye to their workers' demands. It all kind of remains to be seen. But of course, what are your thoughts on all this? Are you a Touchstone member or employee? Do you know anyone who is? I generally tend to think that climbing becoming more popular is mostly a good thing, as it brings more money into the sport, meaning athletes and other people can make a living off of climbing. I mean, shit, that's what I'm hoping to do with this whole YouTube thing. But at the same time, you also get situations like these, where the distribution of wealth in the climbing community is pretty wildly unequal. So, I genuinely think it's important to make sure people's voices are heard, especially in situations like these ones. But yeah, as always, links are in the description down below to everything. I will keep you guys updated on this, as it's a pretty big deal, not just for Touchstone gyms, but gyms all over the world. It kind of sets a certain precedent. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. But that was some climbing news. And again, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my ranting. Help me get this stuff out to you guys with a little more frequency. I'm going to be putting out 2 videos per week from now on, as it seems there's just too much sending going on in the world to make this only a weekly thing. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on Friday. And yeah, just go climb some stuff.